And until we see that, it's hard to talk about timeline, it's hard to talk about specifics, because we need to actually see on paper what they're going to move forward with.
On that point, almost 50 years ago, as a senator, Joe Biden voted for a framework or a timeline that has the president proposing a budget first and then Congress disposing of that budget. Why is it the argument here that the Republicans should put forward their budget first? Isn't it the president proposes the Congress?
Actually, that's not what we said. We're going to put out our budget on March 9th, and we're asking Republicans to do the same. Because here's the thing, Steve, what we keep hearing from Republicans is that they want to cut Social Security. But we haven't, where's the plan? Like, what is it that they're going to lay out to show us exactly?
The law says that the president's budget's due the first Monday in February. Joe Biden's not the first president to be late, but he is going to be late, and it's now 5 weeks from today that you've said that the budget will come out. Can you explain why it is delayed? I think you were asked this last week, and there was a suggestion that it might have something to do with the omnibus. But is that the reason?
And I basically said the omnibus happened so late as you know, in the last session. But here's the thing: the president has made a promise that he's going to have his budget on March 9th. That's what we're going to do. That's what he's going to show to the American people, and we want to see what the House Republicans are going to put forward. And nearly 1/3 of his judicial appointments are Black Americans, and President Biden has nominated more Black women to federal courts than every other president in history combined. And of course, President Biden appointed Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman to serve on our nation's highest court in the land. And in just 2 years, the Biden-Harris administration has delivered real and lasting change and continues to work each day to deliver equitable outcomes and opportunity for Black Americans. We're providing nearly $6 billion in historic resources and support for historically Black colleges and universities.
Just to be clear, is it the administration's plan to lift Title 42 on May 11th when the public health emergency underpinning it is lifted?
So, look, I just want to be very clear on this part, too, because I know this question has come up.
Emergency, if the court order hasn't been lifted, you're going to keep 42 in place?
So here's what we were trying to do, and I'll explain like our thinking here. So what House Republicans were trying to do is they were trying to really barrel toward abruptly and immediately ending Title 42. And what we are trying to do was to make sure that there was an orderly process to manage this manage the situation at the border in a way that was, again, orderly and effective.
In the coming weeks, my Republican friends will have to make a very serious decision. Are they going to get serious about working with us to find a bipartisan solution to our debt crisis, or are they going to put partisan politics above the good of the country? Are they going to say it has to be our way, all the way, 100%, no revenues, or we're going to force the country to default? Or will they put the good of the country and compromise above narrow, ideological, often fear-driven politics? Mr. President, in conclusion, I'm an optimist. I believe my colleagues will come around and join us in finding a bipartisan way forward.
I think that would send a strong signal to the business community and, frankly, to the rest of the world that we're able to govern, that we're still able to work together, to reach across the party lines, to reach common sense solutions. We need that, and I think a lot of good will flow.